I'm seeing a reemergence of people who are coming to us, coming off the GLP, or they took a GLP and it didn't work. And they're like, what? Like, I thought this was it. Or people lose the weight and they're like, I do not look anything like what I was anticipating to. And I'm like, yeah, because you lost half your muscle with it.
When it comes to, obviously the Women's Health Initiative did nobody, it was a massive disservice to humanity. But now I feel like the tides have shifted and society at large is like way more accepting and understanding and on board with new scientific research and literature around hormones, HRT, TRT, bioidentical hormones, things of that nature. Obviously, when it comes to anything exogenous, I always encourage people to like make sure all the stuff that you have direct internal control over first is dialed in. Your stress, your sleep, your training, your nutrition, all that. So let's assume people have all that stabilized. If that is in fact the case, where do people now turn their attention as far as exogenous hormones go? Should that be like, can we confidently say that at a blanket statement, women would benefit from exogenous estrogen, especially as they go through menopausal years? Like what is the stance on that now in your opinion?
Yeah. So what we see a lot is like, with progesterone specifically, I do like when women can go on it earlier when they start, because that's the first thing that declines. And so that helps a lot with, your sleep and things like that. And we know that if you're not sleeping well, like you are going to be inflamed. Cortisol is going to be higher. You are going to struggle with blood sugar the next day. It's like something like 25% more likely to be insulin resistant the following day with one poor night of sleep. And so like that has substantial implications for your ability to be able to lose weight and just your health in general. And so like, I think it's a great tool. It's a great tool, but it's not going to make you lose weight. And I think that's the biggest thing that people forget is that you still have to lift the weights. You still have to eat well. You still have to have all these staples in place. HRT can make you feel better so that it's easier to stick to the plan. Absolutely. And I think that's where it can be really helpful, because if you're so out of it and exhausted and you don't feel like yourself, at the end of the day, the chances of me having a salad for dinner versus wanting to sit down and watch Netflix with a bowl of ice cream, the ice cream looks pretty good, right? And so if you can help yourself with some hormones that way, definitely beneficial, but you still have to do the things. The other thing too that people forget is that your hormones all have to be all has to go through your liver. All of it has to be filtered through there. And what we see a lot of women do is they take the estrogen and all of a sudden they feel brutal. They have estrogen dominant symptoms of like breast tenderness, bloating, fluid retention, weight gain. Their mood is all over the place and they're really struggling. They're like, what the heck? Like this estrogen, my estrogen is low and I'm supposed to take estrogen. I'm going to feel better. But the thing is your liver has 3 different pathways that it can push estrogen down. 2 of them are going to trigger inflammation, make your PMS type symptoms worse, can actually be negative to your health, causes oxidative stress and all these other things. And the other one makes you actually feel good. But the thing is, in everyday life and the way that we just function, we're not getting the right nutrients that we need. We're highly stressed. We're under eating. A lot of people are over exercising actually and doing crazy stuff. And that pushes you down the more inflammatory pathways. And so it's basically like you have estrogen just like stuck in this traffic jam when you go down the wrong pathways. And then you're just adding in more HRT, which is more estrogen. And so you're just gridlocking everything and it's causing more issues. And so this is where you have to, again, look at the internal stuff. Am I creating an environment internally where I can actually experience the benefits from the things that I'm taking? Or is this just masking problems? Or am I actually going to feel worse? And this is like, I would say 50% of the women that we work with are like, I took HRT and felt terrible. I'm like, yeah, because when we do your Dutch testing and stuff, we can see like you are really favoring the wrong pathway. And we need to, help support your body through nutrition, through lifestyle, through activity in the right way to shuttle things down the way you want it to, so you can actually feel those benefits. And so I think HRT is massively beneficial. There's lots of positive health effects that can come with that, like cardiovascular disease prevention and things like that, right, to help you with that. But that only works if your body is utilizing it properly, because otherwise it can be more inflammatory and actually negatively impact your cardiovascular health. And so this is where, again, there's all these Band-Aids or quick fixes or these promises of solutions, but it has to be, we have to know that it's going to function the way we want to. This is the whole vending machine thing again. We have to know, is your body actually going to use it the way you want it to? Because for most people, it's not.
And with something as volatile as hormones, you pull one lever and so many other levers get pulled downstream. You have to be testing on a pretty regular basis, especially initially, to get things dialed in and recognize that that's subject to change in another 4 months. So this one-stop shop mentality of okay, I'm going to take this and this is all I'm going to ever take, that's probably not going to do well for you.
Oh yeah, like for myself. So for example, like my testosterone was so low, like, and I can guarantee you it probably still is now, but postpartum. So, but, and my DHEA was low as well. But so they would be like, oh, you could take DHEA and then it'll help with your testosterone. If we look at my Dutch test, because my body is so like heightened to stress, and my last one, I definitely was, it was favoring pushing DHEA to my androgens. So I was very androgen dominant. And so pumping myself with that would have made my symptoms so much worse. And this is why I think it's so important to like make sure you're optimizing internally, seeing what needs to be addressed, improving those things. That way, if you do want to take those things, they actually work the way you're supposed to. Or, maybe they actually improve on their own. We see that all the time where it's like, dang, look at this. Things are working out the way it's supposed to. It's almost like our body is supposed to heal and function properly when we give it everything that it needs. It's just in this day and age, we're so stuck in grind, hustle, Amazon Prime, that having to actually do this stuff and like wait for it is really, really hard.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Is there any situation or context in which women specifically taking exogenous hormones may be, like if all of that is dialed in, like if they're not favoring a negative pathway, is there a situation in which they're better off just not taking any exogenous hormones, or like from a health, longevity, and bone density standpoint, they're always going to be better off replacing that hormones that's they're deficient throughout menopause? Yeah,
honestly, just depends on like the person. It's such a like individual thing, right? And there's also some studies that show that if you go past 60, I believe, to start HRT, there can be some negative side effects. But again, the research is it's still emerging, right? Like people just started giving a crap about this in the last like 10, 15 years. And so we have to like take everything with a grain of salt too, and consider like, are the people who are getting tested like you? Like, do they also have hypothyroid? Do they also have, all these other things? And so I think it is just such a like individual conversation where you have to address those or like assess those different risk factors and stuff. And so I can't really say like one way or another, because I think it's just such a nuanced and, you never want someone to go down like the wrong route or cause harm or anything like that. And so, yeah.
How has this changing landscape around GLPs impacted the people that you're seeing and talking with? I'm sure that's part of the conversation.
Yeah. So we have a couple clients who will go on it, but we make sure that they are doing like the protein. They're still doing the lifting. Because what we're seeing now is I'm seeing a reemergence of people who are coming to us, coming off the GLP, or they took a GLP and it didn't work. And they're like, what? Like, I thought this was it. Or people lose the weight and they're like, I do not look anything like what I was anticipating to. And I'm like, yeah, because you lost half your muscle with it. But also then people come off of it, or there's a shortage, or they lose their health insurance or whatever it might be. And now they didn't do anything to sustain it. And this just goes to further prove the whole, if you don't change who you are, like we can snap your fingers and make you lose 50 pounds tomorrow, you're not going to keep it off. And so this is the whole, you have to change who you are piece and really understand what all the negative consequences are to this. Because like we know it can negatively affect your gut health if you're not getting enough of the micronutrients and the fibers and stuff you need. It's very hard to get enough protein in, hard to get calories in. And this is also where you see a lot of people who, were already really high stress. Reducing their calorie intake more is not going to be conducive to good health long term. And so now we're going to see, I think, a lot more like risk of fractures. I think we're going to see. I think there's going to be a lot more frailty. I think there's going to be way more people going into a nursing home because of these things. And so I don't think a lot of people think long term. It's more, I want to get out of my discomfort immediately. And they don't realize that you're stuck with discomfort for a very, very long term after that. And so like we have lots of people who've come to us who, did the GLP, wasn't happy the way it turned out. But then we have people who are like, I want to use this just to like get rid of some food noise, or if they want to, we know it's good for inflammation, things like that. But they're like, I want to do this the right way. Like, I don't want to lose the muscle. I want to eventually come off of it. And right now, I don't think there's a plan for people to come off of it. And I think that's the scary part, because, what happens when there's a shortage, or all of a sudden the price increases substantially, or whatever it is, you have to think about those things long term.
It's kind of like the analogy of, like the bum on the street that wins the lottery and has all these millions. And then you're like, oh, they're set for life. And the next thing you know, in 12 months, they're back on the streets. It's like,
Yep.
if you don't change your underlying identity, then no amount of quick fix is going to solve all your problems.
Exactly. And the truth is like, when you think about your identity, you will always act in accordance to what you believe to be true about yourself. Always. So like, if you think you're an impatient person, you will always act impatient. Always. Until, you decide, oh, I'm a patient person. And then you naturally start acting like a patient person. Like it's not like there's this whole processing thing that happens. Like our brain is looking for shortcuts all the time. And so are you a person who has the qualities of a fit person, of a healthy person, of whatever, right? Like you don't realize how much stuff is like ingrained in ourselves, whether someone else told it to us or we decided for ourselves or whatever it might be. But you will always act based on what you believe to be true about yourself every single time. And so this comes from like a belief perspective, an identity perspective change that needs to happen in order for you to maintain this long term. Fats, need all the things, but we also need micronutrients, and we're not getting enough calories. We're not getting enough micronutrients. We're not eating enough whole foods. Of course, your body isn't functioning the way it's supposed to because it doesn't have what it needs. That would be like putting, the wrong gasoline in a diesel truck. Like, that is not going to work.